All right, cool. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth. I've got 3 screens here, so I should be able to see you guys sending me messages. However, when I dig into it, if I miss any chats, I will take a moment here and there and try to check the chat as we go along. So thank you all so much for joining me today. And I also want to thank all of the individuals at Security who have afforded me this amazing opportunity to speak on this platform to such amazing women. So today and this afternoon, what I'm going to teach you ladies is how to use OSINT tools to keep yourself safe while online dating. And what's really rad about this class is I'm actually going to teach you utilizing open source free tools. You don't even need to log into an account. And I'm going to teach you the tools with the techniques that I use in my everyday OSINT, where I actually hunt adversaries. So it's pretty cool. All right, a little bit about me. I'm going to jump through this quickly because this is not about me. It's about hunting. But my background is 17 years in the military. I did 11 of those in the special ops. That picture on the bottom right was actually when we were getting exfilled out of Afghanistan. What I did when I was working in the special ops is I worked in a special unit that was specifically designed to have 2 women and 1 interpreter, and we would actually in bed and work with the special operators. I worked directly with the Green Berets and the Navy SEALs when I was deployed. And my job and my mission when I was out there was to actually gather information off of the women and children to be able to develop the intelligent picture that we didn't have initially, because that culture, you are not allowed to talk to the women and children unless you're the husband. So we were missing that piece. So I was really fortunate to be part of a pilot program, and this was in 2010 and 11, before the military had even allowed women into combat. That really started creating my love for intel. And then at the same time, I was a communication NCO, which now that transferred me into where I'm at today, which is a cyber electronic warfare officer. So I had this intelligence background with this cyber background, but in the military, there's no such thing as cyber threat intel. So when I pivoted out of the military into the private sector, I then learned about this wonderful world called cyber threat intel. And I really launched myself into that probably a couple of years ago. And I started realizing that some of the tools that I had taught myself were really beneficial in this world. So for the last couple of years, I've been doing cyber threat intel, and I'm currently working as a lead at a financial institution. And I also am a founder and CEO of a defense contracting firm that offers intelligence solutions. And then on the side, during my free time, I blog, I podcast. I'm co-authoring a cybersecurity book that should be publishing in the fall. And then lastly, I am pursuing my master's, and one day in the next 5 years, I will accomplish that as well. So you guys can reach out to me. I'm a huge fan and a huge advocate for supporting other women in this network, in this community, and building our network, because I know I had my own struggle. So I'm excited to be here and meet all of you amazing women. So the tools that we're going to be using during this discussion, super easy. Personal laptop, your VPN. If you don't have a VPN, that's okay. Still highly encourage you to get one. And then Google search, Google Doorking, PimEyes, True People, and other social media platforms. So no software, nothing like that you're going to have to download today. So this class is going to be 2 phases. We're going to move through phase 1 really, really fast. And the reason being, I just want to provide you contextual understanding of why it's important to have good cyber hygiene. We've already heard some of the great speakers talk about this, so I'm not going to deep dive into this, but I definitely want to touch on it. And then we're going to move into phase 2. Phase 2 is where the fun is, and that is where we're going to review the tools. And I'll go through what I call the crawl, walk, run phase. And I'll actually pull up real profiles, real dating profiles, and we are going to hack them. I'm going to teach you how to hack them, and then we're going to kind of hold hands, and then you're going to run. So number 4 is going to be hunt time. I'm going to give you artifacts, and you're going to work through these cases on your own, filling out a predetermined form that I'm going to give you. So by the end of this, I'm hoping you all walk away with just a little bit better understanding of how to use OSINT tools, and then also protect yourself while online dating. And as an OSINTer, it is important to pay attention to detail. So there has already been a hidden gem in this slide deck. So if anybody can identify the hidden gem at the end of this and tell me what they think it is, it's not repeated on every single slide, but it's already been shown once. I will give you a one-on-one with me and then also a $25 Amazon gift card. So be paying attention throughout this. All right, so dating scams. We've all heard about them. So the fact is, women, we are more targeted online in the dating forums. It just happens. 25% of men have said they have pretended to be someone else online versus 18% of women. What's scarier is the millennial men are at 34%. So we've got to be more careful while we're out there and we're online dating. Here are some of the dating scams that you're going to see, and you're actually going to see one of them in one of the profiles that we go through. We've all heard about catfishing, the famous catfishing where somebody creates a fake account to trick another person into basically misleading them into, it's really their motivation is insecurity, loneliness, and it's sometimes greed. But catfishing, I actually, a couple of nights ago, I went onto Reddit and I did Google Doorking and I did catfishing under Reddit. You guys should check that out. There were legit catfishers, and majority of them said they were catfishing just to hurt people's feelings. They don't do it out of financial gain. They do it to hurt people's feelings, or they do it because they're insecure and they don't think they can be loved. So catfishing is a real thing. It's out there. And then phishing, we've all heard of phishing, the PH type. This is generally motivated by financial gain. This is where somebody's going to garner your trust slowly. You might even actually go out on dates because it might be a legit account, and they might slowly get financial information off of you. So it's a little bit slower process. And then we've got romantic scams. This is where, and I have witnessed this, they love bomb you. It's fast, it's furious, it's sometimes it could be a fake account and they don't meet with you. Generally it is, but it is usually driven by financial gain. And then some quick statistics from the Federal Trade Commission. Just this last year in 2020, they had a record number of 304 million in losses report because of these types of scams. In 2019, that was down by 50%. And I believe that's because of the pandemic. We're lonely and we're seeking love. We're on these apps, we're seeking love. We're not seeking scams, and it happens. So how do you protect yourselves? Really, a lot of these are common sense, but the two on the right side that I want to highlight, research the dating profile, and that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to teach you how to do a reverse image and know who you're getting in, not in bed with, but into a possible relationship with or going on the first date with. Like, who is that person really? I always say trust but verify. I don't know how many times I've done reverse searches, and you guys will actually see them when we go through this, that the person is 10 years older than they really are, and that's not okay. And then also search online to confirm their data. So we're going to do that as well. I'm going to show you how to be able to pivot around, and you can do this kind of research within 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes less, depending on how much information that they give us. So don't become a victim. Just want to reiterate that. It's very important that we all maintain cyber hygiene. We protect ourselves, because as I'm going to teach you today how you can actually go after these profiles, remember, they can go after you just the same way. And then don't give out too much personal information about yourself. Always be careful. I personally use a Google number. And if you guys ever have any questions on how to set up an anonymous Google number, let me know. I typically don't leave an app immediately. And if I do, I might have a Zoom meet. I always meet virtually beforehand. So just remember to take it slow. So cyber hygiene, we've already had some talks on this. I want to touch on it very briefly because this is crucial. The reason that these profiles are easy for us to hack, or easier for us to hack, is because of the individual cyber hygiene. And you'll see on one of these profiles that their cyber hygiene is all their social media platforms are all open. So be careful and understand, the more open your apps are, the more that somebody can social engineer about you and learn about you even before they make contact with you. One of these profiles we will dive into, I had never even made contact with the individual, not once, but I know her Facebook and her LinkedIn and all of this data. So it's going to get pretty scary, but it's important to understand that it's because of cyber hygiene that this information is out there and more prevalent. And on the right-hand side, good tips. On the identical photos, that is something that is really common that we see in dating apps that I've seen. typically you see the same photos in a dating app that they're going to see in their Facebook and their Instagram because it's such a cute photo. So they use it everywhere, and reverse imaging will tag that in all of their photos. So try to make your photos on your dating apps an authentic, something different than maybe your primary photo that you use in all of your other ones. I'm taking a quick gander over here at the chat room, guys. You guys are awesome. All right, cool. Let's dig into it. So social engineering, I mentioned it a little bit, but for anybody on here that may not know what this is a top criminal technique that we see used on online dating. It's defined as manipulating you, giving information, building the confidence. So eventually they get passwords, banking information, intimate photos, anything that, and the reason for intimate photos could be blackmail later, and then social security numbers. So why social engineering instead of hacking? Because sometimes it's really easier to get somebody to fall in love with you or to garner that trust than it is to maybe hack into their machine. And dating apps are a perfect platform for that. Why are we on dating apps? Because we're seeking love or intimate relationships of any type. And then they know that. Criminals know that. They know where to go. They know where to seek you out. And they know the best approach to be able to get that information off of you. So again, trust but verify. And if it seems too good to be true, it possibly is. Awesome. So we've got an hour, and I want to dive into this. And this is where I want to spend a lot of our time. So what is OSINT? OSINT is open source intelligence. That is something that you hear a lot on the public or the private side, but on the public side and the DoD side, you'll hear PAI, which is publicly available information. They're one and the same. What it means is it's basically information that you can gather legally about an individual. Right now, it's typically on the internet. It can be anything from magazine articles, press releases, anything going back to can be legally gathered is OSINT information. The first step typically in a targeted attack is to gather information about your target. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you. I'm going to teach you a general workflow. You create a workflow, you gather the information about your target, and then you might start asking questions to the target about the information that you have to cross-reference, or you might create different patterns of life. So it's all part of the packaging when you're going after a target. And then, yeah, thanks to social media, being able to garner that information has become a lot easier for individuals like myself. And this is our full-time job, to go after adversaries. And the same technique, I mentioned it before, that I'm going to be teaching you today on how to scrape these profiles and do reverse images are the same exact things that they can do for you. So I'd encourage you after this class, reach out, ask questions, but maybe even scan your profile, see how easy it would be to hack your profile and get information off of you. So, all right. So these are the three primary tools that we're going to be utilizing. We will be using a couple of others, but these really get me to answer the questions that I need. Google is great. I use True People Search. That is usually my no-fail. I do have some others. And then PimEyes. And then what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to share an Excel spreadsheet with you guys so you have these tools already. And then after I go through this first case, I'll share artifacts with you following that. So let me do a quick link. And if you all want additional OSINT tools, I have an entire document that I can share with you that has tons of different OSINT tools. So reach out to me. I can send that over to you. I wanted to keep this super simple. So the top portion of that Excel folder you'll see are the ones that we're going to be using today. It'll have the tool and then the definition of it. And then at the bottom are some others. And then actually, while I'm thinking about it, let me send you this so I don't forget. So this is an OSINT handbook, so you have it for your records. This thing is massive. It's 510 pages, but it really breaks down different OSINT tools for you if you're trying to do a photo or an email or anything like that. Awesome. Cool. So like I said earlier, we're going to do a crawl, walk, run. I have 4 profiles that we're going to go through. So the first one, I'm going to crawl. I'm going to do it. I don't want to give artifacts because I want you guys to see it. I don't want you to try to do it while I'm doing it. And then after we go through the crawl, I'm going to ask you all if you're good with it. We're going to go into the walk phase. In the walk phase, I'm going to give you an artifact folder, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go through it, but I want you on your end to go through it as well. So the goal of this is for us to be able to just find 3 to 5 3 to 5 new artifacts or facts generally about the profile. That's it. We don't need to find all of their background and social security and credit card information. Just find 3 to 5 new facts that we didn't see initially on that profile. And then the run phase, the end of this, I'm going to give you a folder, and you're just going to run with it. I'm going to be quiet. I'll be here answering questions. I might be doing it on my own on this end and sharing my screen, so you guys can kind of see me doing while you're working the case on the same. So, all right. So here's the fun part. Hunt number 1, Cal O. All right. So good old Cal O. I'm going to minimize this because I'm going to go from screen to screen to go back and forth. So if you guys have any issues with seeing stuff, let me know. I'm still looking up here and trying to go back and forth. So Cal O, all right. So what do we know? So this is his profile, all of it. Took screenshots and put it up here. So Cal O, he loves trust and communication. He wants to be taken back to, I think, Thailand. His life behind the scene looks like he was definitely younger and thinner in that photo. He says he's 37. He's a partner at a strategy consulting firm, which tells me nothing. He went to MIT and other and moderate. He likes sushi, likes to boat, he likes to take selfies because he believes that you want to get someone who looks at you like that, taking a selfie in the mirror. And then, yeah, he likes Bali. So I really don't know much about this guy. Yeah, so let's move to this next one. So what I did here is I pulled out the 2 images that I thought were going to be the best for reverse image search. So you've got your best and your okay. I'm just going to use the best for this one. And then what I did is I laid out what we know, but I have a workflow too. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth without trying to confuse you guys too much. And I've already kind of filled out this form, but we're going to still go through it together. So let me actually delete everything because I don't want you to see the answers already. Hold up. Okay, cool. So this form is what you're going to have in all of your folders. And so we're going to just kind of work through this. Is this okay? Can you all see this when I go back and forth? Can you put it in full screen? Yeah, can you see this form if it's not in full screen, Patricia? Anybody else? Cool. Thanks, Kim. Good to see you. Somebody's saying no. Do a quick, make it a little bit larger for you. Something like that. I can, but tiny. Okay. Here, let me do this. Boom. Oh, you know what? Google Docs, ladies. Google Docs. Check it. Check it. You guys can do, I can do live entry over here. So here's the document so you can see me as I'm like actually filling it out for anybody that's having issues with seeing it over here. So you'll be good to go. And like I said, I'll share artifacts folder. So you're going to get all of these profiles to work on your own after this one. So you'll be able to see everything at your level. So in this form, I filled out everything that I knew about him. He's 37. He looks Persian, Clarendon, Virginia, Massachusetts, and MIT. So what I have now is I actually set up, I personally like using OneNote. So I have a OneNote document over here. I'm just going to briefly show it to you. This is my OneNote of good old Hunt number 1, Cal O. This is my personal workflow. So I typically like to start with the reverse image. I like to verify photos are current, and then I may go down that way if they have college information. So we've got Cal O. Let's go ahead and let's go to our PIMIs. Cool. So I showed you this photo is the best photo. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop that photo inside of PIMIs. There's that. It's fun when you have 3 screens. Okay, got it. Good old Cal. All right, drop him in there. See what happens. Here we go. Oh man, pretty sure Cal is not 37 years old. So we remember these are the photos. We remember his entire profile. So first thing, ding, 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 I'm having red flags going off. So I'm seeing this right here. So I'm like, okay. So I'm seeing different URLs. We've got a Brink, we've got a Res Cloud something. This looks like a media place where they have parties. We've got an Olive and then an Olive. And so these two are likely from the same sites where these are not. And then you might scroll down, but typically above is where you're gonna have the best attribution. So I'm not gonna really worry about these. So what I'm gonna do for the sake of time, I would likely go through all of these, but I'm gonna hit on 3 of them to kind of show you. So since I know these two have similar URLs, I'm gonna check those out first. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna look at source code because again, this is a free account. We're not paying for it. It's open source. So I would right click on the link, make sure that you're on this link area and not here because you'll get a different source code. You can still get to it, but driving down to it can be a little hectic. So you're gonna right click here and then you're just gonna click, I have a Mac, so mine's inspect. I actually don't know what it would be for a Windows machine. But right inside here, you have this little marker. Let's see if I can expand this a little bit bigger for you guys. That right there, if you move the mouse kind of up and down, you see how it highlights the pictures on the left-hand side and kind of moves them around. That is usually my guiding force to keep me where I'm at. So since I right-clicked on this and did inspect, I know that that is this link. So I'm going to go ahead and expand down. And boom, I have a semi-complete URL, semi-complete. So I'm gonna drop that information over here in my OneNote for my tracking purposes. And then I'm actually going to screenshot this and put it with that URL so I know that that was the photo that I pulled. And I'll show you guys this on the, instead of keeping going back and forth, so you're not getting mixed up. Oh, it is inspect, thank you so much for that, Ray. So it is inspect on Google Windows. Okay, cool. So that was actually, yep, that was Oliver Wim. Okay, so that was this one. I'm so sorry if I got confused, you guys. I kept saying that I right-clicked on that one. I actually right-clicked on this one. So I'm gonna come down here. I know this is the same URL, but I wanna do just a quick inspect and just make sure it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and screenshot this since I know these are both associated with the same URL. I'm gonna throw this in my OneNote. And I'm tracking those. Cool. So then I'm just going to check one of these. This one looks like he's at a party. I'm not going to worry about that. Rez Clouding and Brink looks like it might be, I don't know, a company name. Open it up. Okay, Brink News. So it's a news place. So we'll go ahead and just keep that just because it's the same photo. These are the same photos. So that'll be fine. So let's do this. Cool. And then and you'll see why I'm saving all of this information over on the side. It's important when you're doing a hunt to keep all your stuff organized because sometimes when you're going after it and you've been after a hunt for like 3 days, you need to be able to go back and see how you tracked everything down. So just so you guys see this, ladies, I've got this Brink News with this photo and this one is in line with this. And it would be neater, but I want to speed this up so you guys have time to hunt. So this is all together. So now that I know that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google Dork this. So I'm going to go into Facebook and first I'm going to take the first address that we had, which was that Oliver, whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this and take that away and see what where is this going? First off, okay, so Oliver Wim, impact-driven strategy advisor. If you guys remember, his profile was, he was, what did he say? He's a strategy consulting firm. So I'm kind of like, okay, possibly. So what I'm gonna do is screenshot that. I'm gonna throw that with my document over here with that link that I found. And then I'm gonna Google Dork this really quick and just see. So I'm gonna do site, and then Google Doorking, real quick on this. So what Google Doorking is good for and how we're going to use it today is for site research. So if I just wanted to find information specifically on Oliver Wim, I would do site, and then the site information. So you can do that for reddit.com, you can do that for facebook.com, and then maybe somebody's name. And then it would make your search go directly down into anything with that name specific to Oliver Wim. So as you can see right now, all my searches are for Oliver Wim, Oliver Wim, Oliver Wim. And up here, okay, his name was Cal O, pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's a nickname, but let's just see. So none of these include Cal O. Cool. I'm gonna try to remove that. No, not getting anywhere with it. Cool. So I'm gonna get rid of that, but what I'm gonna do really quickly is I'm gonna check out this Brink News really quick. So let's see what this Brink News is. News and insight on global risk. So I'm gonna do screenshot, save this, throw that with that profile photo that we found, and then I'm gonna Google Dork that really quick. Instead of trying to go through that site, nothing's coming up, so I'm gonna do Cal. Whoop, you guys can see my history because I tested all this last night too. So nothing's coming up. Cal. Nope. Let's try Cal-O just in case. No. Okay. So what I'm learning is likely Cal-O is a nickname, and I'm thinking that the Oliver Wim could be associated with him, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of hitting dead end. So what I would do next, I would go back to my workflow that I have here. So we've got the reverse images. We've got this one associated with that, which is Brink News. We've got Oliver Wim, which is the impact-driven strategy advisory, which that's where my intel heart's telling me that's where I need to go. And then I've got these two photos that are associated with that site, but I can't Google Dork his name. So I'm hitting a roadblock. So I need to go back and go, okay, what else can I pull? Remember, he had his school information. So if you guys saw that Excel spreadsheet, there is a link in there for an OSINT tool called the albanyusa. This tool is great for 98% of universities that are out there. You can typically search for somebody's university by going in there, searching for the university, and then typing in their name. And it actually is very, very effective. So you can either type in the university down here, up here, and then it'll come up with the university information. So for this one, I had to do this search a little bit different because it doesn't like to do the bottom search. So we've got MIT, and I don't know, I could guesstimate what year, but I'm just gonna leave it all. I really don't think I'm gonna get anything, but I'm gonna check and see if there's a Cal. Another great thing about this tool though is you can do name, so maybe it's just KA. No, nothing. So that's a dead end, crud. All right, so next I'd look there. I don't have graduation date, so what I would typically do, actually I'd probably quit talking to him because he's way older, but for all intensive purposes, I might have gotten the guy's phone number. So I've got some PII on him. So went ahead, grabbed his cell phone number from him, and let's go ahead and let's drop that into People Finder now. So that's the next tool that we're gonna use. So it's a reverse phone number search. All you're gonna do is throw the number inside of there and then hit boom. Oh, what do we have? We have good old Claude Usman, who is not 37 years old, but he is 48 years old. Ouch. And I'll explain why that number is not listed below. That is the number that we utilize. This is because I researched it. This is actually his business number associated with the company. You'll find out here in just a minute. So yeah, that's why it's not showing up here, but it's still tied to him, even though it's his company number. Very interesting, right? I've got his address now. I've got his email addresses. I could have a heyday. I've got associates' names, likely family members' names, previous addresses, all of this information. I mean, I could go on for days. So jackpot, right? But I'm not done. I want to know who this guy is because that's just me. So we're going to go into Google, good old Google machine. And I'm just going to throw his name in there. Oh, look at that, ladies. Oliver Wimman. Let's see who this guy is. Oh, ho, ho. Lo and behold, do you remember this photo? Yeah, that's right. That is him. And he is the senior vice president, Oliver Wimman. That's what he does. So now we know, if we go back here, now we know that he is not 37. He is 47 years old. So right there, I would definitely not be going out on a date with him. And I will tell you backstory on this. I have fun with these kind of profiles. I've been doing this for quite a few years. And I actually did a FaceTime, and he was really far back, and it was, ladies, it was super quick. It was like he only wanted to be on the call for 5 to 10 minutes. It was really, really awkward. When you are out there, had I not done the background on this and I actually like the guy or something, that would have been bad showing up, and he doesn't look like this at all, but instead he looks like this, and you don't know what you're getting. So awesome. All right. So we're trucking on good time because I wanted to run through that very quickly. I know it was fast and furious, but that is because I want to give you time to actually do the hands-on. So what I want to do is pivot into our hunt number 2, which is Lindsay. And if you all feel comfortable with it, I think you are ready. I am going to share the artifact folder with you with the document folder, and I'm going to move through this very slowly, but I want you to move at whatever pace. You can either follow along with me, or you can just dive in. And then after I kind of go through the process, I want to open up the chat again to see what information you guys found. So don't share the information you find. Let everybody work through it at their own pace, and then we'll share what information we found. So goal is 3 to 5, but if you do it right, you're going to have fun with this one. So let me share the folder with you guys really quick. I have so many screens open. Boop. All right. Get good old Lindsay's over to you. So shares. All right, cool. So here is Miss Lindsay's. You will have inside of there, please tell me if you don't have it. You're going to have all of her profile information. So you're going to have all of this inside of there. You're also going to have your own Lindsay OSINT workflow. Make sure you download that. I'm pretty sure I have the settings where you can't edit anything, but make sure you download that document. That's where, that was just something I wanted to give you guys to have for tracking. But if you want to use OneNote, use what works for you. But I would encourage you to get in the habit of tracking what you're doing. So, all right, let's get into it. Yeah, you can make a copy. Thank you so much for that, Patricia. All right, guys, I'm super excited about this one. All right, so hunt number 2, good old Tinder. I have not even contacted Lindsay. She doesn't even know I exist. I don't know well, I do know she exists because I see her profile. And all I know about Lindsay is she works for National Geographic. She's 28 years old, Caucasian, lives in Alexandria. She went to Virginia Tech, and she enjoys road trips, movies, and yoga. I don't have any data procured from her, and these are the 2 photos that I felt like were the best ones for doing the reverse image. So let's get to it. My workflow, you guys already saw it. I'm going to still pull it up again and show you my OneNote. So I've got... all right, so I've got my workflow always the same. I'm going to start out with the reverse image search. I'm going to verify that the photo is current and that she's not actually like a 40-year-old woman. And then I'm going to start looking at the college data, likely, depending on what I can get from the image search, and then go from there. And I don't have any other PII information, so this will be fun. And remember, I haven't had any contact with her. This is a completely clean, just saw her profile. So let's do, first thing we're going to use is PIMI. So bring that over here. Cool. And then let me bring up my image folder. So I'm going to use Super Happy and Excited. That's the full image I'm going to drop in here. Super Happy, Excited Lindsay. Oh, usually you don't have to create an account, but I reached my limit. So for this class, since I have been doing a ton of these, I'm going to create a quick account. So cool. What up, Lindsay? And let's see. So we have a ton of photos of her. I've got, I can tell that's her. She really likes to smile big. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay. It looks like she does improv or something of the sort. This even looks like her. That doesn't, I'm not sure about that, but she definitely, I can tell, might be her. I can tell that she has a heavy social media presence. So then I'm going to look at the actual URL that this is like a prov. That's where I'm like, okay, she must do improv, broadcast. So since there's so many of these provs, I'm going to just focus in on those because that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibles. 5 possibles on one site. So in my opinion, instead of wasting my time on these other ones, that's where I'm going to go. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go into the inspect. And then, all right, cool. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to drop that over into my OneDoc And then I am going to take a screenshot of the photo that I picked from. Document, 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 really important. Okay, cool. So I've got that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna Google that. I wanna know what it is. So let's see. Let's see what this place is. All right. Yeah, so it's like an improv place. Fairfax, where was she residing again? Wasn't it? It was Alexandria, close enough. Cool. So what I would do is Google dork this really quick. So, yeah, sorry you guys saw that. Clean your caches before a class, Jax. Gosh. All right, so going in here, I see a Lindsay Doan. And see who this person is. So I've got 3 options. So this was the photo buy, so it's not her. And then that is definitely not her. Yep, and then mailing. So it's not in here. I don't see any Lindsays. So I would just keep kind of going down. I see a Lindsay June. So I would go in here and boom, I think we've got our girl. That is mouth open and ready to rock and roll. You can tell she's a bundle of energy. Wish I could reach out to her. I'm hoping she's not at security because this would be really awkward. So Lindsay June, let's make sure this is her. So I would likely save this information in my tracker with this photo as well. Know where I've got the information from, building out the report. And then let's go back to Lindsay June. Boom. First thing I see on here is a Facebook profile. Definitely not her. In 1922. And so I may go right inside of here, but sometimes I go into the images. And the reason that I do that, it will actually take you to photos of that name associated with it. And with that, in this first one right here, the only one I saw that looked like had attribution was possibly Facebook. But when I go into images, I can see immediately, boom, there she is about the artist. So now we know she's an artist. So that's another artifact that we just got. She's an artist. She does acting. She's an actress. She does acting. Here's some of there was a, in here, but it's not showing up right now. I might have clicked out of it. Yep, there it is. So now if I really wanted to dig, I have 3 areas that I can dig into. And I bet you if I found their website and started doing Google dorking, I could find more information on her just by going into these different performance credits that she's associated with. Absolutely. So let me go back to PIMI. So PIMI, so right here, make sure that your mouse is over the URL that you're wanting to do. Otherwise, it will put you in an abstract area. You're going to have to kind of search your way down into it. So right click right here, and then you're going to click on inspect. And then on the right-hand side or the bottom, depending on how yours comes up, it should highlight, let me close this, should highlight where you're at. And then all you're going to do, there's this little tiny arrow that is next to this. If you open that, it'll create a drop down. And when it does, that's where, and it's hidden. And the reason that it's hidden and it's not full is it's not a paid account. This is a free account. So, yep. And then if you do I do a double click and it copies it for me. Anybody else have any questions on that one? Did that help, Hannah? Are you good? Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, we know she's an actor, likes to do all that kind of stuff. So back over here, I would obviously make sure you're annotating and put that in there, and I'm still hunting. I'm seeing if I can see anything else. She has a YouTube. Look at her, fancy. She has 2 subscribers, no videos, no playlists, no channels, no discussions, and she's been joined since 2020. She's really active, so it's cool. That was a dead end, but that is definitely, and that, how I can tell that's her, if you look at her photo, she has this little tiny mole right there, so I know that's her for a fact, even though that's probably a younger photo of her. And let's see. I don't really see anything else. So now what I'm going to do is go back, and I am going to go into the Facebook, and I'm going to see what's in here. So we've got, boom, first thing, Virginia Tech, lives in Alexandria, Virginia. When I first did this, she was actually like 3rd or 4th down, I think, because I might have been stalking her for the last couple of days. Facebook algorithm has put her to the top. So make sure you search when something like this comes up. Lindsay June is not an uncommon name, but you could, I typically don't go past like the first page or a couple scrolls. I usually look and see if I can find something. But I know this is her because it's Virginia Tech and she lives in Alexandria, Virginia. And she is a talent coordinator at National Geographic. Just by this right there would allow me to pivot further into knowing now, not only do I know that she works at National Geographic, but I know she's a talent coordinator. So let's go into her Facebook really quick and see. So let's see if her friends, social engineering, let's see if her friends. So she's at least locked down her friends, but I can tell you right now, all of her photos are open. And what this means is I could, if we had the time, I would go in and look at her tags. I would see who she's tagged to, what friends she's tagged to, who she's like, all of these people. I would start creating my story about who those people are. I'd start looking on their profile, I'd start trying to find information about them. So that is other information. Something I will show you too, and then I'm going to pause. I'm going to open up the chat, is, if I remember correctly when I was playing around with this, National Geographic, Lindsay June. If we did something like that, boom, I guarantee it. I'm not going to click on it because I don't want her. I'm in my actual LinkedIn account, but there she is, and her account's not private because I can see her photo. So let's go back to where we started really quick. I haven't even met this person. I literally just have her name and what she has on her profile in her dating app. And we were able to find out where she works, her LinkedIn, her Facebook, friends, what she does on the side, an improv that she works for or volunteers for, all of this information. Now, how easy would it be for me to go and just show up at the improv because I want to learn how to act? Or show up at, or maybe get involved with National Geographic events, or find out what her friends are involved in. If you look at her Facebook page, she's really active in a lot of events and things. It would be really easy for me to be at an event that she was at and have all of this information about her. So anyway, what do you guys think? I want to stop for a minute. Yeah, so Kim, that was really interesting on the PimEye stuff, a bunch of porn star show. When I volunteer and I help out and I do capture the flags for Trace Labs. And they do a monthly OSINT where you pay, it's a nonprofit, but you pay $20 and there's a small group of us and we hunt and we're given files and folders from agencies of missing or exploited kids. And this is one of the things that we do. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when you do these reverse searches out of PimEyes, for example, you do find that they're being exploited for sex, and you find them by doing a reverse image search. So it is disheartening. Oh, Trace Labs. Daria, Trace Labs. If you guys look up Trace Labs, that's the company. It's amazing. Here, I'll show. I think that's gonna pull up my account actually. But yeah, Trace Labs. I'll send you guys the links and reach out to me on it. It might be tracelabs.org. All right, I'm gonna hold for a minute. Thank you so much. Yes, it is tracelabs.org. All right, before we move on, do you all have any questions? We have 2 more hunts and we've still got about, which is good time. We've still got about 25 minutes to go, which is awesome. So we've got 2 brand new profiles as well to walk through. Brittany, I do some work around missing and exploited children. I used to do physical work in that sector. So we would use our OSINT and our ability to social engineer to be able to get closer to the cells of the perpetrators, the pimps that would use these women. And that was some of the work that we did back in 2015 and 16. When I first transitioned out of the active military, I took my special ops skills and the training that I received. I started a defense contracting firm. And what we did is I had female operators work for the company and we would embed. But our premise and what we did is we used OSINT to social engineer our way into these cells. And then we would deliver early warning or any other intelligence, such as patterns of life, such as where were the girls going and sleeping. And we would be able to send that information back to whoever we were working for at that time. I don't do that so much anymore. I stay mostly behind the keyboard. It's a rough job. You've got to really be detached, and it's a tough place to be when it's full time. So yeah. You ladies are amazing. So awesome. I love this class. All right. So if you guys are ready, we're going to get into the next one, the run. So I'm going to still be here. If you all let me know when we get into this next one, I'm going to share the artifacts folder with you. I can either be quiet and not say anything this one, or we can do another walk where I walk you through it and then you guys can share with me what you find. How did you guys do on the last one? Did you find some of the information? All right. Okay. Daria, reach out to me. I'll give you some more information on it. Absolutely. Good question, Anisha, and I'm sorry if I mess up anybody's name, but how do we protect ourselves on dating apps? So that's all about that goes back to the cyber hygiene. I would encourage you all, do a reverse image, use some of these tools on yourself, see the type of information that's out there on yourself, and then determine, are you okay with that information being out there? That OSINT document that I sent you, there's actually tools in there that will help you clean up your social media footprints. I don't have time to dive into a lot of that now because it is a little detailed. You have to identify where the information is at and what you want deleted, and then there's tools to help you. You can either pay for the service or do it yourself, but you guys are savvy and smart. You can do it yourself. Okay, let's get into it. Awesome. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. I love that you guys are sharing additional information in the chats. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to run. All right, so we have 2 more profiles. So I'm going to try to keep us on schedule so we can get through both of these. So we've got a lot of information about Nathan. So Nathan here, he loves to travel to Paris for French toast, converse, connect, stay home a while. He likes to drink wine. He obviously likes food and cooking. That's generally what I'm getting, because even brunch over here. So we've got food, cooking. He likes to work out. Right over here on the right-hand side, the reason that this is circled is something about Hinge that people don't know is when you upload photos to Hinge in certain social media, certain platforms, they will let you know by this little thing right here. It's a little kind of like a hamburger, but it's little lines. If you click on it, this is what it'll look like. It'll fade the picture out. And then depending on the information, he doesn't have any information on it, but it will show, and one of the other profiles will show this, our last one. It'll show hashtags, any information you put in there. I have been able to find people's profiles simply by hovering, clicking, looking at a really abnormal hashtag that there were literally 5 hashtags for, and I found his profile. Now, you can't find their profile if it's private, but if it's open and public, you can, and this is all within Hinge. And so I don't think they realize how easy it is to track them down. So that was just a little bit of information on that. We know that he's 38 or supposedly 38. He is a man. He's a marketing director, University of Hawaii, Christian, and it looks like he's from Hawaii, and then he's a liberal. So let's dive into it. Let me go over here, and then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to share your guys' artifact folder with you. Cool. Anyone? All right, sweet. All right, so Mr. Nathan, you're going to have that entire profile is all inside of there. You'll have your DoS form with everything that you can fill out, and I'm going to move through this quietly on my end, but I'm going to give you about, let's see, 10 minutes Yeah, so we'll do 10 per, probably 8 to 10 minutes to go. So just start hunting. You do have a phone number. However, I would encourage you to work through the flow, doing the reverse image first, maybe looking up his school, but don't dive into the phone number right away. Yeah. And even if you do, you might hit a couple of speed bumps. So we'll see what happens. And if you do, I'm going to be over here and I'm going to start working through it on my own. Cool? All right. And I also want to let you know too, when you do PIMIs and you see that there's a date on the photos, that is not typically what I have found out. That is when it was uploaded into here. But what I identified using Cal for an example, one of those photos he looked really young in, but the date on it was 2020. So I'm thinking that, and I haven't done all the research, but what I've noticed through my research on this, it's when it's been uploaded to the system, not when the photo was actually taken. When we inspect, what are we looking for? Are you talking about, oh yeah, in here. So when you're inspecting on PIMIs, is that what you're referring to, Ray? I just want to make sure I know what question you're asking. Okay, cool. So yeah, when you're here, what you're inspecting is the URL, that is this link. So if we had a paid account, this would be taking you directly to where this photo is. So what we're doing instead is we're basically hacking it since we have an unpaid account, and this would be closed, but that highlighted right there for me, right clicking and inspecting, I would open this and then I can see this URL. So that if we had full access and paid for, that would take me exactly to where that photo is located. But instead we get just a little bit, and that typically is enough to be able to figure out. And don't spend too long on the photos. I'll tell you that right now. Pivot around, check out the school, check out the phone, because I did all of these. So I'm just kind of working through what my process would still be, but I worked through this last night. So I know that the photos will have some information, but the juice is in the squeeze in the other area. So this is looks like this is an architect thing. And he said he was a marketing director. So I'm like, okay, he's a marketing director. Maybe he's a marketing director of an architect company. I don't know. Nathan, nothing showing up. So the Google Doorking didn't work. There's another one over here that I pulled out. This one actually looks like one of those photo places. I'm not going to spend time on that. That looks a little. And then this looks like he could be. So if you remember that Albany link that I gave you for the university. So in his profile, he actually says that he went to the University of Hawaii. So I'd likely come in here, do a quick University of Hawaii search. Let's see. And yep, I remember correctly. There was a ton of these. So for time's sake, I went through every single one of the Hawaii universities and I couldn't find a Nathan. So I'm not going to have you guys waste your time, but I did go through every single University of Hawaii and there was no Nathan listed, which I found. See, yeah. So when you come down here, all of these, I tried all of them and for some reason no Nathan showed up, but sometimes that happens. So I didn't put too much weight in it. I was able to get the phone number, like I mentioned. If anybody's gotten to the phone number, I would go into my other tool that I have, and it's listed in the Excel spreadsheet that I gave you guys. I go to Spy Dialer. It's okay. It's not as good as the other one, but it is also in that OSINT document that I sent you. Sometimes you need to double check your work too. Don't ever do, when you're doing this in real world and you're going after an adversary, you never want to just, you always want to trust but verify your work too. So you always want to try to check and verify and make sure all your data is right. So that's weird. Linda Abadi. His name's Nathan. So I'm going to throw that in my artifacts. That's odd. I'm thinking girlfriend, wife, mom, I don't know. So let's see who this person is. Let's go into People Finder before we hit Google search. So, all right. So we've got a lot of individuals and none of them are showing Hawaii. So my next thing being in here, what I would do is see if any of these individuals have a son named Nathan. or somebody named Nathan. Where's his number? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't. Here, let me drop his number. It is in the slideshow. I did not put it as an artifact. My apologies on that. So I just dropped it in there so you can pivot from it. So I find this odd. So I'm like, but they're 61 years old, 60, age unknown, 60, 43. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's his mom. Details. And then what I would do is do a Control F to save me time. Oh, look at that. We've got a Nathan in here. Possible associates, Nathan. Washington, landline. I don't see any Hawaii or any association with it. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to try this Nathan really quick. Just see. What's the worst thing that could happen? Another dead end. Boom, ladies. There's our guy. Lucretia. Let's go to images. Boom, boom. We've got his LinkedIn. We've got PQ Twitter page now. Yeah, like we've got him. I could go on his LinkedIn likely and get all the information that I needed from him now. And that phone number wasn't even associated with him. It was under his mom's name. I'm going to pause there because I want to make sure that we go into the last profile. But I want to first see, did anybody find anything else? How did you get to the information that you found? How are you guys doing? Am I moving too fast? Am I moving too slow? Tell me all the things. Silence is good. You probably are all working away, slaying away, trying to figure this out. And I love it. The session is perfect. Thank you. I'm going to give you guys one more minute. And then thank you, Kim. You're doing great. Kim, if you guys haven't met Kim Nguyen, she is amazing, up and coming, about to graduate and from college, computer science. She's also co-authoring already her first cybersecurity book. Pretty excited about that. She is phenomenal, super humble. She's slaying it, and she hasn't even gotten out of college, so she's great. Great. Okay, sorry, Ray. I will slow it down. Spy dialer wasn't given any results. Let's try that again then. Let's try spy dialer. And then let's see. Where's that number? So no results on spy dialer, and that's okay. And that happens. And if it does, what I would encourage you, if it does happen for you, make sure it's clicked on. I was going to say, make sure it's clicked on name lookup, because if it's on here, voice, or any of these other ones, it may not show up. So that's a big thing. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, Ray, that link that I sent you with all of those OSINT tools in that document, go in there. And if you do Control F, and I think it's actually under phone numbers, there's a slew of other open source tools that you can use to pivot from as well. Because sometimes, as you guys saw, True People didn't give us any information when I first put the phone number in here, but Spy Dialer did, and Spy Dialer is very, so that's why I took that information and that name, I put it into True People. Also, and we're going to pivot after this into our last discussion, I did want to share with you guys, when I was looking up Cal, when I first went into Spy Dialer and I looked up his information, it actually gave me his company name. It didn't give me his name. It wasn't until I went into True People. That's why I use this number. But if you saw and you remember in True People, it didn't have that number attributed to his account, because that's his business number. But it still gave me all of his information. So you can be found. Little crazy. All right. So let's get after it. We've got less than 10 minutes. I'm going to leave like 1 or 2 minutes for questions. Let's jump in. Unless you guys want to stop here and do questions. You guys want to hunt Chad really quick and see what you can find in the next couple of minutes? Oh, what I found after Linda Baldley. So what I did is I went into True People. I got her information. I used that number. When that number came up, it gave me that name. And then I pivoted into True People. And then when I got in here, this is all the information. Let me back out. This is all the information that came up. And then what I did out of process of elimination, I looked through it and I didn't see anything with Hawaii, but I clicked on the first account and I was just kind of go down. And what I wanted to see if there was any associations with anybody named Nathan inside of that account. So when I went into view details, what I did is a control F and I just typed in Nathan, and that's where under possible associates, and many times possible associates are family members, I found this guy. And then all I did is I grabbed that name, I went into Google, and then I pasted it in there, and this was the information that came up. And then like I said, I like images because it drills it down. So when I went into images, I now have Twitter. And that, if you guys remember, this was part of the reverse image looks. We have Twitter, PQ, LinkedIn. Like, I got this guy done. Like, LinkedIn, I have it all. Awesome. All right. So we've got only about 5 to 10 minutes, or 5 to 6 minutes. I think the best thing is to open up the floor for questions, because otherwise we're going to be super rushed to try to finish this. I'm glad that security actually gave me an extra 15 minutes for this class because it was a ton of fun. I had fun. But Chad, just to let you guys know, I'll just walk through this. So Chad is really interesting. I was able to procure his phone number. Did I get his phone number? I did not. No. So this guy is very active on his Instagram. And if you remember on one of those, I showed you how on Hinge, all of this data right here, let me pull this up live screen so you can see it bigger. All this data shows me hashtags everything. Like, that's a long way down, or concrete dreams, things that are really unique. Go frogs, all these weird ones. Neely School Business. I was able to track down certain things, but I know that his profile is secure because I hunted him before, and I found all of his like nephews and his sister's profile and everything like that. But Hinge updates the Instagram constantly, so I don't have that data. What I did do is a reverse image. I really didn't find anything, but I did on his graduation date. All I did is I used he gave me that. I went in to that the university search. I looked up Oklahoma State University, graduation date, search for Chad. Boom, all of my information. I have all of the information that I need from him simply by searching that name. This is literally, when you go in there and you'll see this, this is what the university search will look like. I know this is super tiny, but this tells me he's Chad Barrington, Washington, D.C., tells me where he's working, architect at Canon Design, so on and so forth, all of this information. I took that, dropped it into Google, and now boom, he's a Lyft driver. There's his LinkedIn profile. And then next thing you know, I have his phone number, address, parents' name, email address, everything that I need is all right there. And he literally just gave me his school year date. So awesome. I'm going to stop and pause because we've literally got 5 minutes and open it up for any questions. Do a quick recap though, because a couple of you have been asking me questions on this. So the biggest number one thing is to remember you've got to secure all of your social media accounts. Remember, if it's out there, I'm going to find you. They're going to find you. We just hunted 4 people today, and I didn't have a lot of information on majority of them, and I was successful in finding, I mean, Chad, I know exactly where he lives, same with Cal. So it's really scary. And then always research before you go on a date. I don't care if you think that you trust the guy, research. Just do a quick one, 15, 20 minutes. Reach out to me. I'll do it for you. I'm serious, because you always want to trust but verify. And I keep saying it. Remember, if they can find you, if you can find them, they can find you. And I want to preface it on the right top side. All of these skills that I just taught you today, use them wisely. They should not be used for malicious purposes. This is something that you go through when you're going through any OSINT class. They reiterate that we have a code of ethics. Many of you have gone through courses in the cybersecurity with code of ethics. So don't use these in any malicious means. And did anybody find the gym? Anybody find the gym? I knew you guys would probably be super focused on hunting and probably wouldn't find the gym. Somebody had to have found the gym. Gym. Oh, Brittany, what kind though? What does it look like? Yes, April. Yes. Oh my God. You guys are awesome. All right. Well, I've got like gym hearts. I love this. Okay. I'm going to write your guys' names down. I'm going to reach out to you. Amy Jordan, and then I've got April. All right. If I don't reach out to you guys right away, please reach out to me. And then Brittany, I'm gonna get you too. So awesome. Great. Awesome. This was so much fun. I hope you guys had so much fun. Please reach out, like box 10 hearts. Yeah. So the gym was that top right thing. I had it in like 50% of the boxes. So, oh, thank you, Daria. This was actually a stock thing that I found online. You guys are amazing. I had so much fun. This is such a fun class. I'm glad they recorded it. I wish we had more time. Any suggests, please let me know if there's anything that you would like to see differently or anything that you enjoyed. That just helps me refine these briefs better for teaching you guys. And hopefully there was not too much content thrown at you. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Secure your accounts, secure your sites. You guys are awesome. This was a great class. I wish I could have, you know, the whole audio side, but yeah. I'm going to stay on here until they kick me off. So if you guys have any questions, ask away. I've got 2 more minutes and then I think the screen will shut down on me. But you've got the artifacts. I shared the Excel document with all the OSINT tools. You have the online toolkit. Anything you need, let me know. And anybody that wants the copy of the slide deck, and there it is. I would just ask you if you do repurpose it, do so knowing that that was the work that I did accordingly. But I'm all about sharing and caring in the community, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else that you guys need? I think you've got all of the other data. So yeah, this was fantastic. So awesome. Well, I'm surprised they haven't shut the room down because it was closed at 6. So I'm going to go ahead and log off. I know we've got 30 women on here, but please reach out. You've been amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better training class. I think we've still got a few more speakers. So make sure to hop into some of the other rooms, and you all are amazing. Thank you. Mwah. Bye.